なんですね。でもだから。
Please turn to page 7, please. Until enlightened I seek refuge, through merit from giving and the rest. Great all may I become Buddha, in the Buddha's Dharma and Sangha. Until enlightened I seek refuge, through merit from giving and the rest. Great all may I become Buddha, in the Buddha's Dharma and Sangha. Until enlightened I seek refuge, through merit from giving and the rest. Great all may I become Buddha. May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and its causes. May all sentient beings never be parted from sorrowless bliss. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from bias, attachment, and hatred. To the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one God beyond, the full destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the Khensur, the Shaka clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. To the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the full destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the Khensur, the Shaka clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. To the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the Khensur, the Shaka clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. When O supreme among humans you were born on this earth, you picked out 7 strides and said, I am supreme in this world. To you who are wise then I prostrate. With pure bodies formed supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, famed that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With supreme science, face like spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Dust street like you, the 3 worlds are not, incomparably wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the founder having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you, the one gone to thusness, I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dharma that pacifies, I prostrate. Those who are liberated and wants to show the path to liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you, the sublime community intending virtue, I prostrate. Homage to the Supreme Buddha, homage to the Dharma refuge, homage to the great Sangha, to all 3 ever devout homage. To all worthy of respect, found with bodies as many as all realms, atoms, in all aspects, with supreme faith I pay homage. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions. Perform only perfect virtuous actions. Subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a mirage, the flame of a lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud, sea condition of body, speech, and mind. O glorious and precious root Guru, pray take seat of lotus at my heart, caring for me with your great kindness. Bestow achievements common and supreme. O glorious and precious root Guru, pray take seat of lotus at my heart, caring for me with your great kindness. Until supreme awakening, remain steadfast. Homage to the exalted three jewels. Thus I heard at one time the Blessed One was dwelling in Rajapuria on Moksha Mountain, together with a great assembly of monks and a great assembly of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One was absorbed in the concentration of the countless aspects of phenomenon called profound illumination. At that very time, the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the great being, was looking perfectly at the practices of profound perfection and wisdom, perfectly looking at the emptiness and inherent existence of the five aggregates also. Then, through the power of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said to the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the great being, how should a child of lineage trained who wishes to engage in the practice of profound perfection and wisdom? Thus he spoke, and the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the great being, replied to the Venerable Shariputra as follows. Shariputra, whichever son or daughter of lineage wishes to engage in the practice of profound perfection and wisdom, should look perfectly like this, subsequently looking perfectly and correctly at the emptiness and inherent existence of the five aggregates also. Form is empty, emptiness is form. Emptiness is not other than form is not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, like this, all phenomena are empty, without characteristics, that is, they are not produced and do not cease. They have no defilement and no separation from defilement. They have no decrease and no increase. Therefore, Shariputra, in emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no compositional factors, no consciousness. There is no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visible form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no object of touch, no mental phenomena. There is no eye element, and so forth up to no mind element, up to no mental element of mental consciousness. There is no ignorance and no cessation in ignorance, and so forth up to no aging and death, and no cessation of aging and death. Likewise, there is no suffering, no origin, no cessation, and no path. No exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Therefore, Shariputra, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and abide in the perfection of wisdom. And because their minds have no obstructions, they have no fear. Passing utterly beyond error, they attain the final state beyond sorrow. All the Buddhas who reside on 3 times by relying upon the perfection of wisdom become manifest and complete Buddhas in the state of unsurpassed, perfect, and complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, equal to the unequaled mantra, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, since it is not false, should be known as the truth. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is proclaimed. Kayata, gate, gate, peroten gate, bodhisattva. Shariputra, this is how a bodhisattva, the great being, should train in the profound perfection of wisdom. Then the Blessed One arose from that concentration and said to the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the great being, well said, O child of the lineage, so it is. The profound perfection of wisdom should be practiced exactly as you taught, and the Tathagata will rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, the Venerable Shariputra, the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the great being, and the entire assembly, as well as worldly beings, gods, humans, demigods, and others, were filled with admiration and highly praised what had been spoken by the Blessed One. In the holy supreme abode of the Bikinis, possessed of clairvoyance and miraculous power, unwaveringly caring for practitioners as your children, homage to the host of the 3 places Bikinis. Through the power of the truth of the exalted treatise speech, may all on the side of negativity such as foreign Mars be stopped. May they become non-existent. May they be pacified. All enemies, instructors, and hindrances, Shante Kure Soha. The 80,000 types of obstructions pacified, free from adverse harmful conditions. May all be conducive and perfect auspiciousness, bring happiness and well-being here right now. Saji.
weather today? Is it going getting snow tomorrow? Next day?
Wednesday, I believe.
Wow. It's really New England weather, it's very easy to change. Anyway, but where heat is good, are you guys enough to warm enough? I have extra heat here. Yeah, the people have different elements. Who has more, fire, earth, water, wind, right? Who has more water element? It's easy to call. Now, who has more fire? Also, those people always like very warm. Like, difference that element make for difference our physical things. Right? Are you guys some people very easy to call? Even your same room, someone's always cold, someone's temperature very good. It's happened, right? Therefore, 4 elements everywhere. It's science they believe 4 elements, any atoms. Even there is a water, I have said, earth, water, wind, fire. Did the science believe that? Different. But, of course, they're different, but, Gyume shikanga tsango ina. Pina. Manzulana chana yorlaro. Pachul. Then Tirbazo Kanena. Yerba. Pena Dina la show Dina la such million Gyume chasa yors Dina.
So, although it may be a little different, but it's believed that in each thing it contains all 4 elements. Like for example, in the piece of paper, there are all 4 elements in this piece of paper. You accept that?
Science accept that? Are you guys accept that? I don't know. I don't know how they. But Buddhism we say that they're all different reasons. You say, okay, fire means not like fire way or stop fire, not like that. Water means not like ocean, but they all have. Then Gyume tsango is ro. Gyume mewa ina, ani tangu bodi tu ruto is amaro.
And so it has to have all the 4 elements together, otherwise we will not be able to, get together, sit together, or like to compose as one.
That tendri pena Gyume shlok and Gyume karo tat zurapado chik sajimelo karo. Rapado the zugun rotandi ani lovi inyegan zoganalaya pe se oswanes.
And so about the 4 elements and how the things, environmental things, come into existence and so forth, are explained very clearly by Vasubandhu in his Abhidhamma Kosha.
But now, shocking Mubuchik, Silks of the water, and it and that's Charlie. That's all. Lovinik. She don't come to the daughter, and you don't come to us, and that Telmas was one of it.
Of course, it goes back all the way to Buddha's teaching, which he sources to, but it's more clearly explained in that text by Vasubandhu.
But I'm going to music Jewa in Bayana, and I'm going to Subo Chat Tambokandi Tagoyova, and it tell it in a chick, the Shibazo Kanikani Yoga. Young part, Mishido Kabla Yang, and in Gyume Kanikani Tamdogoyova. What do you say?
So it explains all the process, how, like when somebody's born, how their physical body forms in the womb, how the consciousness gets into that, and also at the time of death, how all these 4 elements dissolve, one after another when one dies.
Okay, like that. If you like to more takaro, she zuchi ngubondo tagona and jagana mayores. And now she began to Tamachina, and he Takaron, Semanam Deganama Mayores.
And so if you want to know more about the physical or external things, formations of the things, then it explains more clearly in the Abhidhammakosha by Vasubandhu. And if you want to know more about the internal, like the mind, mental, then it explains more in the Valley Cognition.
아니 지금 남배가 따위 걸어장가나 오만 따고 그랬어. 오마. 바데 지라고. 바데 나왔다베. 당고 뭘로 두고도 송 따고 그랬어.
And if you want to know more about the view, the reality, the ultimate truth, then you should study or look into the texts, like the engaging in the middle way by Chandakirti and also by Nagarjuna.
아니 지금 80년 줄라서 왔던 되게 냠래 또 아니 라므름 것도 나타 아니 80 따고 그랬어.
And then also if you want to study about the Lamrim, the gradual path to enlightenment, or the 10 perfections and so forth, and then there's this text called Prajna Paramita, or perfection vehicle, and you should study that.
아니 다 저와다 아니라야 도마까지 송했다거나 이제 너다고 그랬어.
And then if you want to know about the vows, the disciplines, and the vows of the monks and nuns, then you should study Vinaya, the text or teachings on the Vinaya or rules.
그래서
monastic rules.
차상기 제가 했는데 소소 시도지나 지 강에 나왔을 때 비슷비슷한 거다 소소소를 또 가까이 그랬어.
So all these different texts, of course, contains everything else, but mainly explains one particular subject.
Okay. 인간도 남주 배나 곰발라야. 당도 로종한 실로조 책을 했을 때 제가로야 아니 슈카베 문화사에 로조 책을 했어.
So in the great monasteries like Sera Je Monastery, where monks study for over 15-20 years, what they study is these 5 great texts.
그리고 파션, 오마, 너르바, 인제, 응원바스 모두 동그랬어.
And so those are the 5 great texts, like the Prajna Paramita, and that's the perfection vehicle, and then the Madhyamika, which is engaging in the middle way, and then the Vinaya, which is about the rules and monastic rules and disciplines, and the Abhidhammakosha, which is about how the things are formed externally, and then about the compendium of Valley Cognitions, the reasonings and so forth.
어떤 대조 시작부터 내는다 심바 배상만 못해 그러더라.
So those are
자와 상사됐던 것도 또 되래서.
So those are the main 5 subjects, or the texts that we study to become a geshe. But of course, there are also many other texts beside those.
그 나라다 간주고 지금 로조 차상 트대가 달라.
Because these 5 great texts includes all the knowledge about everything.
Okay. Who would like to study the more Valley Cognition? This is very important. Valley Cognition is very important. Like science, the investigation or they always research for the
External things.
External things, right? Because they have to see. So
they have to be able to see it, either directly with their eyes or with the help of gadgets, right? If you don't see it, then they cannot examine. If they can't see it either way either with the eye or with the machine, then they will not be able to examine it, right? And so in Buddhism also we explain, we talk about the particles, like the subtlest particles, the most small particle, how these small particles form and then becomes into a big piece like that.
But the mind, the machine cannot read mind. Can you think machine can read mind? Machine? What do you think? No. Machine. 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 It's correct? Did I say correct?
Yes.
Machines. Do they read the mind? Can we take picture of the mind? How they take picture of the brain? X-ray. CAT scan, right? Like, anyway, ngato tan therapy kanji ngato sembo do na kanji leba kan do tan share yor was leba de chicken do miti semba hele na leba de yong do miti semba tu na leba de yong do miti semba de leba de yong do sta ko de ja to yor ja yor was.
So based on the picture of the brain that they can catch, right? They can tell what kind of thought person is. So if you have this kind of brain, you will have this kind of thought. If you have that kind of brain, you have that kind of thought. They can tell a little bit about that, right?
The thing is to what the valley thing also numbers na chana shipa parja to mar la gores. The therapy ko ta shipa le ba tabyong gores.
But the scientists, so they believe that with that they can tell the thought of the person, right? The mind of the person. But in Buddhism, we don't accept that you can take a picture of a mind.
ina tang anzo teni nge ngawa me waje ngazo song da yo song desro ko manga wa shiro pena ngazo ki shiba de ko ta de shiba se ngazo tsana ro tsana la tendi shiba miti gele shiba garing mo de chewana ti kapi tsate konje wa ma ro yores.
So of course this is not like completely contradicting, from the Buddhist perspective, because Buddhism also believes that the mind travels on the veins, on the nerves or veins or channels, whatever we call it. And so whenever the mind is more active, when you have strong thought, and so wherever that mind is on whichever brain, or the nerves, then it will show more prominent. That brain or nerve will show more prominent. And so that time you can see in the picture, the difference in the picture, right, of the nerves or the brain.
pena teni tisangado gomyabo jabdewana miti tekalo ya ani kan konso sembal helendo se lagi ora was therapy te lagi ora miti gomyabo jabena.
So when somebody is meditating really well, and then that time the scientists can tell the person's mind is very calm and peace, right?
karna tikabla ko kan ta shibal hello chanda ko ta ta ko popsha chego marwas.
So because the mind is not active, it's very passive or calm, and therefore the nerves doesn't work hard also. So you can't see the nerves, doing a lot of activities. So I'm trying to prove that there's no contradictory between those two explanations.
Perché tendete permettevole kanji yabuju kanji lele shuju yo kono parte temare sro non che jeta cho kargom da yes ani ko nije gom da so.
And so there was a abbot of Sera Monastery who was invited to Taiwan, and there they put all these machines to check his mind, and then they saw that his mind was very calm, very peaceful, very calm. And they didn't see much going on the brains or the nerves. So we asked him what he was thinking, and he was meditating on compassion.
Okay. Therefore, today is a kanji gom yabu janga to muni tane da sem de lelo chage sarwa sa jang ado de jung da gom da jaga chena nene ke jaga no dele ke jaga no cheng do chun deg mu do was.
So person who can meditate really well, who are very skilled in meditation, then their mind will be very calm. But if your mind is so distracted, you're getting disturbed by this sound or that sound, and then your mind is not calm, it's always moving around.
Today that tene kanji sem de kazin tu de wana tikab ko ta shibaden rosagi tsate ko ta ko ya je on de neza ani tikab ko parjane o dan de chang do ko ko te ko parjane chi marwa ko joja ke yo marwa kanji shibat de de ngene je on tikab ki tsang do da ko kedna chi bayang ko was.
And so so however much mind is disturbed, that much more the nerves will be moving around, right? So it's the same kind of nerve, but then it's at one time you don't see any activity, the other time you see lots of activity going on. It's because when your mind is so disturbed or distracted and thinking about this and that, and then you see more going on and like more swelling of the nerves in that area. Although at other time it's very no swelling, so nothing at that time, so you don't see any differences when the mind is calm. But when the mind is disturbed, then you see more swellings in the nerves.
그래서 네 나라 선도다네. 너 배현의 드린 것이 저렇게 도마줬으니까 간지. 나도 샘당 짜셔야 돼. 아니 짜대 나도 게 로키들라 배샤. 샘세대 나가 로들라 배나오잖아요. 그래. 간지서나 로키들 맨날 로도 고샤요 말아봤어.
And so, not that I have seen this in the text, but from my own logic, I think it's the mind and the nerves are very related because the mind travels on the nerve, on the nerves, and so so just like the light, the electricity, the light travels on the wires. So if there's no wire, you will not be able to get the light, right? So you need to have the wire. So it's very similar to that, I think.
드리다 나도 치세, 내 치세 주준다. Where this watch. 니나라 간지 그런 거 로킹 되면 내 체를 건지 그 로킹 하면 뭐 쉬우다 나도 돈만 소자라 와서. 근데 찌를 배지 전셔나야 그 딩을가 제도 말아 와서.
So like for example this watch, they have so many wires, tiny wires which we can't see clearly, right? Tiny wires, connected with each other to make it function, right? If any of that wire is broken, it will not function properly.
니만 나도 대단대요 놈은 니만 지금 나도 위로냐요 와서 리도. 대 고지셔나 나라 도도 쭈쭈쭈쭈 뭐 소설가 같이 몸실로 셔요 와서. 근데 찌를 전셔나 안에 내가 제도만도 대 특별히 위해서 와서.
So same with the radio, right? So do you guys have you seen a radio? The old days, right? You have a radio, you have to tune in, manually, to see. So all these have a connection, right? The wire connection. So if any of the wire are broken or missing, then it will not work.
근데 이제 나도 변나 이렇게 로킹도 다다 나도 나가 생각도 다 집어로 배치 당ሾ서로 와서.
And so I think we can use the same analogy, right? With the mind, how it is, traveling on the veins, and channels and winds, so it depends on that. So we can, I think we can use the same analogy.
그래서 미카지 암조 막거든. 미카지 미들 파트는 미터는 많다. 미카지 드마마서 들리는 거 왔어.
So some people they cannot hear, right? And there some people they cannot see, and some they don't, they cannot smell. Right? There's something wrong with that.
근데 결과 아니 코테 용사의 간지 짜들 껴셔들 짜들 간이 껴셔거든.
And so the eye consciousness, which enables you to see, but it goes through the nerves, in the eye. So if there's something damaged in there, then you will not be able to see.
Okay, 다 드네로 제 도시에 시단돼서 이제 다 자유 다 잡초는 왔어.
I think we can explain something like this, right? You accept?
이나 섬에 나온 것도 섬 산지 좀 되게야 세제 다외 세제는 레바달랑 아이 가서 그랬어. 가서 따지 제초를 가서 자세 장으로야 왕샤 요래서.
And so just like this, we can examine any kind of teachings. That's all the teachings of the Buddha, we can examine. So we don't have to accept with a blind faith, Just like Buddha said, check my teachings, just like you check gold by cutting it, rubbing it, and burning it.
이나 땅한테 따와라야 먼저 지와지세도 저렇게 가오래서 먼저 로좀 다 띵사 보다 지금은 저도 제도 이러 봐 그래 가오래서 이나 땅 아주 소소 일이 그 소화를 전에 반염을 제요 야보노사래서 따지잖아 소소 일이 소화를 전에로.
So to analyze on the view is a little bit difficult unless you have studied about it. Yeah? So it's really difficult, and but otherwise, on everything that you experience on day-to-day life, you can examine on that whether it's true or not, whether it makes sense or not, like that.
딱 가려서 나도 샴바 니제 샤지고 셈 젬베가 삼바 저절로 들어오는 제와는 믿을래요 요래 피세요래 믿으시라 주로 말해서 말해서.
And it said that if you have a loving kindness, compassion, or special intentions, the altruistic attitude towards others, then your mind is more calm. It's not that disturbed.
아니 내차 샤당 공조 차도 나자 생각 제와는 믿으라 아직 주로 그래서 그래서.
And if the other mind, the negative emotions like attachment, anger, ignorance, jealousy, pride, and so forth, and if that is manifesting in your mind, then your mind will not be at peace, it will be more disturbed.
근데 다 전적으로 생각 중에도 근데 마치와 제때 빼 무조건 가오래서 빼 무조건 가오래서.
And so to not let those mind arise, not let those negative emotions like attachment, anger, jealousy, and so forth to arise, it's very difficult.
Right? 아니 드송에는 저들은 가도 sem바데 가도 야마는 소소 맞지와 뭐는 소소로 봐 맞지와 간지 되게 공유다 라는 거를 뺐네. 칼라로는 그뚝 줘야 되죠. 칼라도 고반 두도 고반은 고 나서 던 거로 봤어.
So when that rises, and when those negative emotions rise in our mind, then it's very difficult, right? It's very it makes oneself unhappy. It makes the people around ourselves unhappy. And it's like a poison, and it's a poison. When you get a poison, like poisonous food in your body, then it like creates so much problem in your body, like that.
배나 미사데 테스 미엔데다 지 벤조레 지 돕고다 텐데 가세 여와 잠지 미들은 저도 마을에 요래서.
And
나자 마을에 그래서.
And so the more like possessions, more knowledge, general knowledge, more knowledge, more possessions you have, more fame you are, then you're that much more arrogant or pride or arrogant you become, right?
배나 폼을 바라가던 저도 세인도 왔어. 그래서 로 시험할 때도 많이 요래서 딱 결국 보통 못 자도 싫어 치와요 말더라.
And so the jealousy and arrogance, is very strong when you're younger, right? When you get older, then you don't care so much, so you don't have that much more.
그리고 근데 가르나 간지 그 그때는 땡기는 주제와 말이다. 그거 되서진도 왔어. 간지.
And it's not that it's all the time rising, It's it depends on the time. There's a certain time when it becomes more stronger.
오케이. 근데나 아니 근데 tenzu로 도중에 지난 가서 다 소소요 되오면 미로바에 되오면 간데 되고도 왔을 텐데 나다 산지 좀 되다. 로테 중에도 맞아 왔지 그래. 아니 지 근데 제나 소소 되고도 말아서 맞다 때는 레드도 뭐 완전히 니도 소소 초와다 이잖아. 다치 제와이나. 아니 고아가라 그러었어.
And so those minds, like the negative emotions like attachment, anger, jealousy, and so forth. So when they rise, in our mind, then it makes ourselves unhappy and makes people around us unhappy. So that's what Buddha said. But you don't have to accept that. You can check it yourself. That's what I mean, like you can check it. You have the right to check and see whether that's true or not.
내가 간지 단단한도 셈데 수수 셈데 수수 컨트롤 제도요 말았어. 내 제일 내라고 제도 말았어.
And right now it's very difficult, for us to be able to control our own mind.
그냥 나도 못하나도 컨트롤 제대로 왔어.
You can control our car, right? When you're driving, you can control the car.
Right? 강박제는 라파제는 간지 나도 컨트롤 제대로 왔어. 나도 셈데 컨트롤 제도 말았어.
Either with your feet or with your hand, and you can control it. But to control your mind is very difficult, right?
아니 셈들 또 내라고 스치 셈도 말았어. 그냥 조금 뭐냐로 지금.
Because it's so fast, right? The mind, happens so fast that it's very difficult to catch it.
제가 저번에 지났을 때는 셈다 원이다 시선 잠블기 전에 어디 쪽으로 어디 셈이나 가기 쪽으로 했어.
And so, usually they say the race of the light, and the race of light is very fast. And so when the light shines, the ray, hits it already. So it's very fast, right? So which one do you think is faster, the race of the light or the mind?
What do you think?
So according to the science, the race of the light is the fastest, is it?
It's true. I heard that. I'm not sure. I'm not a science person. I heard that. What fast? Light, right? Yeah.
The race of the light? Okay.
Therefore, I think maybe mine is more fast. Now we have some measurement we can check. So the same said it paid job was. Can second check channel same ones that normally channel left side say what are you not?
So in 1 second, the mind can go to China. Can the speed of light be there in 1 second?
I don't know.
Huh? The speed of light?
Oh really? Oh, then it's too slow, yeah. 40,000 miles?
186,234 miles per second.
186,234
miles per second.
Second.
Oh, miles. So 132?
186.
186 miles per second. 1,000.
Yeah,
1,000.
180,000.
86,000. That's like so many times from here to China, right? So here to China is how many miles? 9,000?
Through the earth or around?
Yeah.
Through the earth is 8,000.
8,000. Straight would be 8,000.
Straight would be
8,000, yeah.
I don't know, yeah, this is very fast. But we should check. I think the mind's more fast, the moment. Okay, like that, okay? But this kind of study, Buddhism you study, like you just go into the study, just open all the doors. You will learn so many things. Whenever you learn things, then how you can, yaw suzu ta nyamnyo jang yaw na ani suzu chi semla jang nyamnyo chi ada lo chi ada pengar nyamnyo chi pengar was.
So you can examine, you can check it that way and then see, whether it's true or not. If it really makes sense, then you can apply that into your practice.
Okay? Okay, now we do a little meditation, okay? You want to do stretch, okay? Otherwise you think, oh, I'm too tight here, or you think about that. Okay? Meditation is for us to more peace. Usually there are also so many different ways to positions. How many people knows Om Mani Padme Hum? You raise everyone? I know most people know that. Om Mani Padme Hum. Can you say that? Okay. We're going to recite Om Mani Padme Hum. Try to keep your mind there, okay? Not thinking, oh, maybe everything that. Try to. You don't have to try to stop the thinking, but try to keep your mind on the sound of the Om Mani Padme Hum. Also, not others' sound. Sound your own sound, okay? This will be just a couple minutes. Okay? So many different ways. And I've taught you in some different ways, maybe some people are like that different, okay? The visualization in front of you, if you're comfortable or you love, you can say all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, masters in front of you. A very beautiful place, peace place, colorful place. And around you also all Mother Sentient beings, your friends, enemies, also the neutral person. Okay? Then we're going to recite Om Mani Padme Hum slowly. Try to keep your own mind, your own sound. Everyone try to follow me, okay? Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Om Mani Padme How is that? Can you keep your mind, your own voice? Now we do second one, okay? 3 times we have sound. Then 7 times not sound. Reset your own mind, okay? Not sound. 3 times sound, 3 times sound, 7 times now sound. Read your own mind. Try to not stop try to thinking, but not follow your mind other place. Keep your oman pema, okay? 3 times sound, then 7 times now sound, okay? Okay. How's it? There's so many sounds there. Can you keep your count? Or you just mind, just follow that? Even you hear that try to you count without losing. It's keep your mind like stable there. If you do this more every day, just 5 minutes, 10 minutes, it will be used. Then next time you can, doesn't bother you other things. Okay? Like that, this is one way to do meditation, okay? Try to do a little bit meditation, not just without thinking anything, just stay there. It doesn't help our mind. Now there are couple ways to meditation. Sometimes also try to think just your body, just go up, down. You go body from head to knee. Just go up, down, just thinking that. Then another way also you think what you're feeling. What feeling you have? Right now any feeling? Try to you identify your own feeling. Also this is very good for meditation. Another way, also you can think any phenomena, like impermanent. That'd be good. Another way, try to you keep your own mind. Focus your own mind. This is the best one. But very hard to, even difficult to identify our own mind. But keep your own mind, that's very good. Okay? Another way, Buddha say, you can just visualization the Buddha's image from you. Usually we know we need very big, right? Very big one. It's much easy. But if you do very small, also the Buddha's image in the light, focus that much you can. That's very good. Okay? Like that, okay? Because Shantideva, the text says, if there's nothing to go on the lower mind,
there isn't anything that doesn't become easier with meditation.
Okay? Therefore, do a little bit of meditation every day. Okay? Try to keep your positive person. I'm not saying you guys know positive. You're all positive person. But we need more positive. Right? Sometimes our mind, our finger, our mouth makes all problems. Right now you guys, makes a lot of problems, right? In the long term, our mouth, we say so many bad things. Then, we have so many bad thoughts, then push to write down, push to say. you know, if not necessary, try to not say bad things. If not necessary, not to write so many things, okay? But when we get mad, you know, we have no choice, right? Like that. Because our ignorance is very strong. Okay? But try to our best. Okay, then the Ganzo Nambeshina and the Kanji and the Tangazo Kangi Chalang, Tengede Garzana, Ganzo Sembatre Lavaros, Semteres.
And so in Buddhism, it says that everything, every problem that we face, you know, is given by our mind.
What do you think? No, he did, she did, they did, right? We think that, but its reality is not. It's our mind. Your mind peace, everything's fine. Your mind think, oh, this dog doesn't work. Like there are a lot of people doing something, I don't know, they move them. Did they bother you guys? They say, wow, we have to. Okay, but did it bother you guys? 나도 생각이야. 알레 공부 가르치는 나도 내 주인들 삼는 나도 대노를 세번째 세번 먹이잖아야 돼 그랬어.
So if your mind, you know, thinks that, oh, it's like bothering me, you know, if your mind thinks it's bothering me, then your mind is there, right? You know, it's disturbing me from listening to the teaching. If you think like that, you know, then your mind is there.
Okay. If your mind doesn't follow that, it doesn't really bother. Okay? Maybe Marco, can you go there? Told them to, can you do a little quiet? They told me, you know, we are going to upstairs to meditation.
Meditation teaching going on.
Yeah. We will bother you guys. Yeah. I don't know what they're doing. Anyway, they move something, okay? It's I'm meditation, you bother me. It's not really good to say that, but that's not mean no time.
But they have to be told, maybe they don't know.
Yeah, they don't know what's going on here. Okay? Okay.
So it's the mind in this case, and in every case, you know, it's a mind, and so that's why we have to, you know, like try to control our mind.
Right?
And then the worst one is the anger. Is that right? Do you think that? So once the anger arises, there's nothing much we can do, right? Just follow that.
And
so, you know, the anger appears as something that protects us or like defends us. You know, if somebody comes to do something bad to us, we like get angry, and then that kind of seems like that's like defending us, right?
Okay?
Do you feel like that? It's like a weapon, right? When you're going in the war. And so that's how we feel about the anger, but actually the anger gives all the problems to us.
Okay?
And so this sixth chapter of the Guide to the Bodhisattva Way of Life explains about the anger, of the, you know, the disadvantages of the anger. So it's like a question answer, you know, it's very easy to understand if you think about it.
Okay? Okay,
so I think we stopped at Yadatuk. So we talked about maybe up to 105, right? And so today we start from 106.
Things like that.
Is that right?
6 or 5, 7. Or you have 7 dress. That tambo de kadna. Jite. Jiten then. That de kadna. Shologan jit jato chuba de kadna and jiten na jitangando. Ta jimbatona, jimbato yujugo was. And the teacher of is, and the Zoa Gomala, Zoa comes to Yujugo, and the teacher of Combo is, and the Tejada. That's also Zoa comes to Yuji Leva and the take up that, cock up the Shoya Mother Zoya Gongo is and Koder was.
So in this verse it says that in order to practice generosity, you have to find someone to give to, like a beggar, right? And that's very easy to find. Finding a beggar is very, very easy. But to find somebody, who cause problem to you is very hard. Because unless you have harmed that person will not harm you, right? So it's very difficult to find. So while you find it, it's a great opportunity for you to take it, to practice patience. So here maybe it's the opposite, right? So this is talking about back in India, maybe. You have lots of beggars, poor people, right? But here maybe it's difficult to find a beggar, homeless beggars, more difficult, not everywhere, right? But people who irritate you is everywhere. So for us, right, ordinary people, we find so many people to irritate us. But for bodhisattvas, it's very difficult to find. So if somebody is very good, will you find that person who will have somebody causing problem to him? No, right? If that person is really good, like a bodhisattva, that's what we're talking about here. So for bodhisattva, it's very difficult to find somebody causing problem to him or her. So if somebody has caused and somebody only helped you, right, and never has harmed you, will you get angry towards that person? No, right?
It's all right.
So if that person does everything for you, right, just like the way you want, right, then will you get angry towards that person? No, right? No reason to get angry. So for bodhisattvas, because they are always benefiting others, it's very difficult for them to find somebody causing harm to them. And therefore it is difficult for them to find the opportunity to practice patience. And then so in the next verse 107, and it says that so when you find that kind of person who caused harm to you, you should not be angry towards that person. You should be happy towards that person for giving you the opportunity to practice patience. So let's read the verse 107 together. Therefore, since my adversary assists me in the Bodhisattva's way of life, I should long for him like a treasure discovered in the house and acquired without effort. And so somebody very poor, like a beggar, if he or she acquires a lot of wealth without having to work any hard, like a lottery, if you get a lottery, right? If you win the lottery, right? So it's like millions of dollars, without working any hard, how happy you will be, right?
right? Lottery top the some cash girl, then he knows those.
Some people, they faint, right? Or they even pass away,
Pass away?
die. They get so excited, so happy that they die. Is that right?
Gotcha.
No? Doesn't happen?
간지 가서 직전에 수준 내가 같이는 가도 직 자고도 와서 잠좀 같이는 먹어야 될 얘기도 와가지고.
So yeah, so something extreme happens, when you're too happy, right? Very excited. It depends on how big is the amount. So some people they cry when they're so happy, right? They like cry out of too much happiness or too much excitement.
간지 네가 가라서 나 아니 깔리 잠하고 있지. 내 방고지게 춤라야 아니 던지가 소소 놀러시 부두도 봐시고 왔는데 가고 좀 거려 와서.
And so just like a beggar, if he or she finds a big amount of treasure in front of his house, right, without having to work hard, then he will be very, very happy, right?
근데 다 소소로 샹추고 셈 계약이 족서가 나면도 아니 저벽이 jelly 라면 봐. 아니 던지가 컨트롤하기 밑에 소소들을 내봐이나. 근데 가봐체 거래 들어와.
So just like that, so just like the beggar will be so delighted, upon finding a treasure in front of his house, the Bodhisattva will be so happy to find somebody causing him or her harm, because then that person gives the opportunity to practice patience. So that's how we should think of somebody who causes us. Who harms us or who irritates us. Will we be able to do that?
No, that everything else some cocoa.
So let alone being happy, we cannot imagine, right? Having somebody, irritating us.
그래서 문이잖아. 간지 간조 조바 검사티. 소소라야 콘롤라데 띵거니 말했어.
And so the person who irritated us, or who caused harm to us, is the real object of our patience. So that's our best friend, for practicing patience. But it's difficult for us to think in that way, right? So according to the teachings here, so that kind of person who causes harm to us or who irritates us is the best friend, for us to be able to practice patience, and so therefore we should be very happy upon meeting such kind of person.
Yes.
I'm guessing all the Bodhisattvas are really happy about Trump.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe else, who knows, yeah. Bodhisattva was never angry at anyone. Maybe, yeah. Some people say that call it Niji as well.
맞다. 걸어든 영어로 영어라. 영어랑 맞아라 연결 맞지. 트럼프. 트럼프 어떤 영어로 영어라. 전세벌 영어로 영어라.
다대대만 거든요. 그래. 샤니 선배도 그 계획 제가 맞아. 제 도구 맞아.
So you're saying Trump, right?
He's really good for practicing, I'm guessing. The Bodhisattva way.
So Trump is problem for us, ordinary people, maybe not for the Bodhisattvas. So if it is like that, then of course he won't be able. But yeah, of course, if it is problem for the Bodhisattva, yeah, Bodhisattva will be very happy.
대단한도 비나 미치라 오케이 답 원하고 타오대 오케이 간지 된대다 간지 소소고 샹적고 섬 조바세 고마이나 아니 소소를 지금 다운만 담으신 념도 공고마도 아니 가오치니 고마 깨고서 말was.
And so in order to practice patience, you have to find somebody who will irritate you, you can't practice patience towards somebody who loves you.
어디지 다 되는 쇼로가 자도 제디가 아니 가오치 오마도 아니 대라 팽고상도 땅고 그래서.
And so in the verse 108, he says that not only that you should be happy, but you should also think of benefiting that kind of person. Okay, let's read that together. Thus he and I have obtained the spirit of patience. It should be given to him first, for patience is caused by him.
대 들었대는 저비 저스 아니 수수 도약의 저비 제거대 아니 저거 거라더니 아니 개가 싸워대 담보 아니 소소 막아서 다들 방어 뭐고 그래서 배차샤와이나 아니 만두치 잘하러 라와이나 또 남주 룩소체나 님에 다 돼서 가시 간제 소소 그 파마 소소를 꺼내 챙겨들 소소 쇼와이나 야쇼대도 telapa trade chegre was.
And so just like it is said here, thus he and I have obtained this fruit of patience, it should be given to him first. So the patience here, the fruit here is like the enlightenment, right? So whatever realizations you have gained, and then enlightenment and so forth, is the result of practicing patience. And the practice of patience was done through the kindness of that enemy or the person who is causing harm to you. Therefore, you should offer that result to the enemy. So in ancient time, there's like whatever things you achieve. And so when it's achieved through the kindness of like somebody, like your parents and so forth, then you give the first portion to your parents. And like that's like a system like that. So that's saying same thing here. So because this result of enlightenment is achieved through the kindness of the enemy, so therefore you should offer that or dedicate that to the enemy.
Okay. 그래서 나도 소소 남주 코로나 되거든요. 투지시에 남고 그랬어.
So somebody who irritates you, you should say thank you to that person.
바로 이렇게 하고 그래. We cannot say that. 이는 간도 쌤고 세통 말도 랍통 말도 깔깔 오시라고 was.
So you can't even bear, right, to say that in your mind. So very difficult for ordinary people like us.
I cannot say that, Yes.
No, and I appreciate that, and I accept that, you want to say thank you, and does that mean, though, you have to stay and continue to be with them to practice it, or can you say, okay, I've had enough of this, I'm going to practice my patience, but I'm going to do it without you in my mind?
Yeah, you can do that.
Without angry.
But it's about, it is about us being patient, which ultimately, in all our different lives, will eventually come to having them also learn the patience.
이나도 당에 전화와지 오늘 지금 당가 저거는 수도 강연을 했나 그 강연 자자들 대대고 막 그때 써야 답지고 그러고 강연에 냐는 대대고
미디 상로만 되라서 나 거의 소고 그거 되어라 안 당가 소고 좀 직선 당가처럼 고민도 하는데 러시아리로
당문에 나치 쳐나 그 둘이 로야요 말도 그냥 루타이 말스
So yeah, according to the Dharma, so of course you should not give up that person. You can't say, okay, I had enough of you now. I'm going to practice and I'm going to, forget about you. Not like that. So that's, you should still think about that person. And
kasi 콜라에 잠바는 이제 공부를 이제 나 코로나 무슨 병원들이 책도 콜라 잠바 이제 공. 나는 인지미 되냐면 되고 말했어. 소소 다른 로션들에서.
So you don't, of course, you should not give up that person mentally. So mentally you should not give up that person, but you don't have to be like right next to that person physically. It doesn't mean that you have to be next to that person, but mentally, of course, you should always think about the welfare of that person, and through your practice, whether the person is going to be tamed and not become angry later or not, that depends on the person. So there's nothing you can do. What you can do is tame your own mind, but to tame other person, it's not difficult. It's not easy. It cannot be done by you. It has to be done by the person himself.
당나지가 미지 소소지 누가 다 가로 강에 되거나 인심이 당을 소화 공부하도 때 대대고 말해서 봐 미지 소소라지 강에 되거나 인심이 당가 소화 공부해서 그 가디나테 강에 세네 대고 말해서
So if somebody is causing a lot of problem to you, giving a lot of harm to you, then you don't have to sit there and say, oh, okay, I'm going to practice patience and just bear with that.
대 노래서
So that's mistaken again.
근데 코로 마사베 돈이 아니 소소도 가가는 반도시는 되어res.
Yeah, so not getting angry is the main point. So just taking the suffering is not the real thing. The real thing is not getting angry. So main thing is not to get angry and then go on your own way. Don't have to be there with that person all the time.
왜 가진 코로사 좀 맞으나? 더 좋아라 방서. 그거 누가 당하던가 가지고 고로 사치고 말았네. 대가도 저하러 왔어.
So we might say, why am I not supposed to be angry? That person is causing me problem, is irritating me, is giving me harm, you know. So why should I not be angry with that person? So that can be our caution, right?
다디 저들라 아니 제가 가진 코념도다 내도 말았나. 그거 누가 저기 들어러 왔어. 대나 저는 고로도 저는 누가 저기 저는 고로 마사스.
So, you know, you say that, oh, I cannot live with that person because that person is giving me so much problem, right? And why do you want to live with that person? Because that person is giving you a problem. Just like that, anger is giving problem to you. So therefore, don't get angry.
그래서 내가 알코올 먹으러 때는 그 코로 마는 것도 라고요 말더라. 소소고 내가 좀 더가나 코로 마사스.
So the advice that we receive, you know, from the Buddha of not getting angry is not because that person is going to be bad for that person. It's because it's going to be bad for ourselves. If we become angry, it harms us, right? It harms us. Therefore, we should not get angry. Just for ourselves to be free from that problem, you know. Therefore, we should not get angry.
Okay? Does that understand?
Yes.
근데 지나 okay, like that, okay? 근데 다디 가르쇼로근 자드제데 가르소나 아니 고가리치 보래. 나도 저와 고야기 다 조요나면 라나메 바다 코인다 콜라 가데지데 체고래 살아버렸어.
And so, because it's by the kindness of that person who caused harm to us, you know, that we were able to practice patience, and the result that we have achieved, you know, through practicing patience is by his kindness, right? So therefore, we should repay, you know, to that person, repay the kindness of that person.
Okay? 그래서 고도에 줘도 가지. 들들한테 들 고도에.
Make sense? You understand that?
Okay? 근데 좀 삼모야고 땅. 삼모야고도 나 솔로 팽거려. 삼모처럼 받았나? 이거처럼 팽도 오면 돼.
Yeah, so we should really, you know, contemplate on this. If we don't contemplate, you know, it will not make much sense.
다만 대한테 저를 다 솔로가 자다지데 만만말. 가르잖아. 코가 펜도 제대로 삼바요 말아봤을 텐데 내가 코로 사줘래 놓고라 그러was. 그래서
Got a good idea.
펜비 삼바 메비 초염 맘버 만테 바스로 와. 다 가려 콜라영아 아니 펜도 제가 삼바 메와 인다는 거 가도 가르치고 말세와 있나? 오 대어 말했어.
And then in the verse 109, it says that, oh, because he did not have that intention to help me, right? When he became angry or when he, you know, caused harm to me, he did not have that intention to help me to practice patience, and therefore I don't have to think, you know, of his kindness.
그러와 다치도 진도인대로 어떻게?
Here, let's read that in the verse 109. If an adversary does not deserve respect, you know, because his intention was not that I accomplish patience, then why is the sublime Dharma honored? It too has no intention to be caused that the achievement.
Okay? 가티에스 저도 선매배 단단 조자 메시나스 저바보의 저로로 담비 추장 지단 조스 당한 이 말은 안에 대나 저는 안에 만도 꼰족 빼나 다스 죽어줬다 봐야 제가 펜도 지고 그렇게 요 말해서 제가 대라야 그러다 기십시에 말해 와서 하는 거로.
So just like, you know, if that is the case, you know, if that is the case that he does not have the intention, then also the Dharma, you know, that which we practice and then through which we can achieve many realizations and so forth, doesn't have the intention. So then why do we respect the Dharma?
저 된저자 대문이랑 나도 보러라는데 나들이 콜렉 저가 공고 펜도 치고도 좀 그런 거요 말 왔어. 나도 자식은 맞다. 그런 strange person.
So our enemy or someone who's causing harm to us, it doesn't have that intention, you know, to help us to practice patience, right?
Okay? 요 말와. That's it. There are motivation to okay. Today I'm going to teach for them to patience. 그리고
Practice patience.
practice patience. 그래서 뭐 지금도 좀 그렇게 요 말와.
So somebody, you know, who is harming you doesn't have an intention saying, okay, I'm going to harm this person so that this person will, you know, have the opportunity to practice patience.
대문으로 요 말와.
Right? That person doesn't have that intention, right?
나도 그런 메와. 다 되는 저 되는 거는 고 말해서 되는 거는 고이나 아니지. 사제가 제요나면 아니 취해야 돼요. 죽여줘. 그냥 그렇게 요 말처럼 패도 그렇게 요 말해서.
So just because that person doesn't have the intention doesn't mean that it doesn't benefit you. right? Even though he doesn't have that intention, but it has benefited you to practice patience. So just like the sublime Dharma, through which we can achieve enlightenment and many other realization, doesn't have that intention, but through that Dharma, we can achieve all these great realizations. So can we be benefited without the motivation? Can we be benefited without that thought, without the intention from others?
Did
you understand my question? Can we be benefited without their intention to help us? Yes?
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, you said without their intention.
Without their intention. Can we be benefited without their intention to help us?
Yes.
So anything or anybody, right, without intention, can they benefit us? Can they?
Example, her glass. Your glass, right? Are you reading glass?
Glasses.
Is
it beneficial? It benefits you?
Right? Your glass meant for you?
It benefits you?
Does
it have an intention to help you? It helps you to read, right? But does it have an intention to help you to read?
Yeah.
So like here it says the Dharma, sublime Dharma, right? It doesn't have the intention, but it helps us, right? So that's what it says. But for I'm just telling you, like using the glasses, as example, to show how it helps us without it having any intention. So that the heater, the machine, the heater, does it have intention to say, oh, I'm going to make him warm today?
Right?
Doesn't have that intention, right? Saying I'm going to make him warm, but it makes us warm. So anyway, so it doesn't have to have that intention or motivation, to help us. That's what it's saying.
Okay.
So earlier it said that, oh, I didn't have to think about his kindness because he didn't have intention to help me. Right? So that's why it says that. Now, you don't have to have intention to be able to help you, because there are other things without intention, they help you a lot.
Okay? What is? And that's all that today.
Okay, let's read the verse 110. If an adversary is not respected because his intention is cause harm, then for what reason would I have patience towards him if he is like a physician who is intent on my well-being? So again, you might say, oh, the enemy, the adversary, has the intention to harm me, and therefore I can get angry towards him. So it says, then for what other reason would I have patience towards him if he is like a physician who is intent on my well-being? So of course you can practice patience only towards somebody who has the intention to harm you. If he is somebody who is always thinking about well-being of you, like a physician, then you won't be able to practice patience. Will you practice patience towards a doctor, a physician who is helping you? No, right? So it is good that there is this person who has the intention to harm us. Because of that you can practice patience. Otherwise you will not be able to practice patience.
Are you going to get mad doctors? Even they cut things, right? Cut piece, that. They give you injections. So then Gansu Subote, that's also got a song of the magic. Gansu Subo Miltango was Marche.
So, we treasure our body, like we keep our body very safe, like we don't even expose it, to others, right? We keep it very secret.
Right?
Covered, secret, covered.
The member culture on the younger was.
But whatever doctor says, we'll do, right? Whatever doctor says, we'll do, right?
Right? Doctor says, you have to do that, you have to do that, you have to do that. Then the much because she down the Taiwan, I just go to member can younger was.
So not 100%, but the 99%, we listen to the doctors, right?
Then Tikalona, Manzu Kunala, doctor, the member in the Yabu check is some Kunota, Teresa, Manzu Kalna, Zovakonto Mares, Zovijano Mares.
And so that's because we, know the doctor always, means well for us, right? And so therefore we can't, practice patience towards doctor.
What in the I need to Manzo. And the part to Tevada. And it did Janja, Chedeva, and the part to go to Janano, Kajizo, Telena, Zovakonto Mares, Zovaya, Tigmas, or Competo Mares.
And so someone that you have an affection and love towards, you will not be able to practice patience, with that person. You will not develop your patience.
Okay? That is look at the Chuji de Vesra. And the team with the Zoativata could Toshagres.
Dadi.
No, Daddy.
And so in the verse 111, it says that not only that, but also it, helps us. Not only that, not only it causes harm, not only the enemy causes harm to us, but it helps us to practice patience.
But what? What the code was?
So let's read that. Thus, patience arises only in dependence on that malicious intention. So he alone is the cause of my patience. I should respect him just like the sublime Dharma.
There's a Pimby Sambala Tene, and it tells over going with Jimmy. Tani tell no some Sambatra than those over Jimmy. There is a call not to Karichimbore, Petochimbore, and Ora.
So you will not be able to practice patience with a good will. Right? So you can only practice patience on somebody who has ill will, a bad will towards you. Right? So therefore it has to be like an enemy, who is always thinking to cause harm to you, that you will be able to practice patience towards.
Okay, this should have gotten my children, get Junior in that.
And then our verse 112.
And it is that's the and the Sanjaniga Sonu machine Sumare.
And so here it is saying that sentient beings and enlightened beings are sane in being the field of merit for us, field for us to accumulate merit.
What I just told you, this is Semchen, Shidana, Jay, Teveson, the Dangaja Momboshi, Jatapunzo Parishans.
So let's read that. The sage has declared that the field of sentient beings is the field of the jinas, because many have reached the highest fulfillment by honoring them.
Today, any Semchen Dang, any Sanja Komatavala, any Semchelateni, any Shambani Zova Komada. Sanjalateni, Sonogo Sosavatani, Kaji, Suzu Sanji Komatoya, Jendo, Chibares.
And so they both are same in terms of being the field for sentient beings to accumulate merit. Right? So by practicing loving kindness, compassion, patience, and so forth towards sentient beings, you gain enlightenment. And by depending on the Buddhas or the enlightened beings, you accumulate merit. So through that, you achieve enlightenment. So they're all same in terms of aiding, for the aids, to aid you to achieve enlightenment.
And then Sanjala, and the Devada, Kibachina, Suzukawasagare, and then Semjala, and Zovagona, Gawasaganda, and Ninja Chibare.
And so by respecting and revering to the Buddhas, you accumulate merit. And then also the same way, by practicing patience towards someone who caused harm to you, you accumulate merit also.
And the Sanje da and the Simchin Niga and the Sanje Komatola and the Gondola Pentoba Chibares.
And so in the verse 13 it says, right, so same, so Buddhas and sentient beings are equally responsible, for us to achieve enlightenment. So without either one, we can't achieve enlightenment.
Today, the Simchin Nanda Java Alachi Loshora.
So let's read that, 113. As the attainment of the Buddha's quality is equally due to sentient beings and to the genus, how is it that I do not respect sentient beings as I do the genus?
그래서 산지도 샘신이가 나도 산지 공부토라 전도와라 아니 저 산지 공부토가 주바래. 그래서 산지를 기바치 샘실라 아니 그러고 기바면서 받다 찬스 구바로 그래 송으로.
So he says that, so it depends on both sentient beings and the Buddhas for you to achieve enlightenment, right? And so therefore, to pay respect to the Buddha and not respect the sentient being, is whose rule is that? So like, you are stupid to do that.
뭐다 들리죠? 저도 고고도 된다도 고고도 간다.
Makes sense? You understand the meaning, right? You understand?
아니 내가 나도 고야 됐다. 내가 산지 공부도 고요. 내가 산지 공부도 와라 아니 샘지다 산지니까 집에 지난 이제 배도 요래. 그래다 산지를 기바지 샘지를 기바면서 받다 또 저는 되게 말했어.
And so what do we want to achieve is state of full enlightenment, right? And achieving state of full enlightenment depends on both sentient being and Buddhas. And so therefore, only respecting Buddha and not respecting sentient being is not accurate.
가지 소설을 조본이 요에다 소설 내가는 조본이지 배도 책에나 찔러 가오지 찔러 막으지는 밑에야 양문들 나그러 왔어.
So there are two people who help you, two people who help you equally, to do your job, right? And then if you become happy, if you are good to one and not to other one, but they both are equally, right? And helpful, for you to do your job, then you should be equally respectful towards both of them, right? You should have the same kind of good feeling towards both of them. So if you say one is good and one is not, then that's not good, right? That's being biased, right?
Okay. Now any questions? Yes.
I have a question about 106. So
106.
yeah, everyone started with it. It says so. The reason that the adversaries are few to the bodhisattvas is because of their practice of patience. So why are beggars plentiful? Because presumably they would have practiced generosity too.
The beggar mene kusin batse meros. Simbatansa. Beggar de kadle kusin bat tesara ros. Se michila kama katre na tesamena ko tela de ros.
Yeah, that part the Quran monasana the sobogo mola nobajen koras. Dan nobajen de garden yungores. Ane the longa de garden mambores. Dan konzo de longa de yungu yogoras kasana Quran ta karsa mambute saras.
Men namju
Tesa in the Tesa mel hamegorata. Shoot Tesarada, Tesa hamegorata.
the tesa the la.
The Nova Koran Nova Jagimeta, the whole Nova Ragomara. Tina said that Koran shoot Tesarada, Tesa hamegoras.
That any koni 지금 바람도 치와이나 만요도 치와이나 간지 저베게 되 요하다 로모바다 마 연구해서.
So your question about the generosity, what's the question about it? What's your doubt about the generosity part?
Why? Because the beggars are providing an opportunity to practice generosity.
Yes.
In the same way that the adversary is presenting the opportunity to practice patience.
Yes.
But why would there be many beggars? It says beggars are easy to find, but the adversaries, the opportunities for patience is harder to find.
Yeah.
Because the Bodhisattva would have been trying to perfect the practice of patience. So why is he presented with so many opportunities to practice generosity by the beggars? I didn't explain that. You want me to try again?
Yes, please.
Okay, so we say that the adversaries that, just to read it says, beggars are easy to meet in the world, but malefactors are difficult to find. For no one will wrong me when I do no wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we said that what that means is that because of their advanced practice of patience, they're presented with fewer, more precious opportunities to practice it. But it says that beggars are easy to meet in the world. So there's your opportunity to practice generosity. Why do they need many opportunities to practice generosity?
Why do they? I see. 근데 뭐야 돼요 말아봐. 가지는 국어로 써라.
콘솔 거면 대신비 콘솔 거기 좀 만다세.
It doesn't mean that they need. It's not saying about they need. It's just saying that there are plenty of them. There are plenty of opportunity to practice generosity because there are so many beggars you can give, But it's very difficult to find somebody, causing harm to you because you have not caused harm, that they will not cause harm to you.
단다 배가 뭐야 돼? 배가 코라스를 내기 물어봐서 코라스 딱 넣으려나 같이 세나제제 제대로서 그 배가 다 마래 그래서.
So beggars, there are so many beggars from their own actions, by their actions, right?
그래서 그런 게 가는다. 내가 했는데 막 강하대서 와. 다 저거 검사대 피자다 돌았는데 틱 그로 사고 말어 왔어.
So the beggars, they are because of their own practice of, miserliness, right? So they're because of their miserliness, practicing miserliness, they become beggar, right? And so there's so many of them. It's because of their one. But somebody to cause harm to you, somebody to cause for there to be somebody who cause harm to you, it has to be somebody who have received harm from you.
But it says beggars are easy to meet.
Yeah.
So meet would mean that you would have some karmic.
마마 투어에서.
너무 투어라 되는 건 지금 렌데지 거라서 그렇다.
어때 투어에도 그거다. 투어에도 당은 랭마 못 사이로 왔어.
Yes, that's true. We have accumulated that kind of karma a lot in the past.
그래서 시당을 전에 된데까지 소소고 레 쏟던 게 전에 아니 방고에서 마모 샹집산바도 투어에서 샹집산바도 리당 롱쇼도 구수가 같은 것들 투어. 근데 마모 샹집산바도 투어.
나 뭐도 투어다 가진 투어스.
알레.
가진 the longest 가진 투어래. 안에서 보고 루이드 가진 투어 말았어. 그 매장 가는 것도 되게 말았어. 가진 투어래서.
근데 같이 투어다 내가 가져서 하고 있어. 다들 소소 가진 게 레사당 건들이 이 투어디.
Yeah, of course it's difficult to say exactly why, why they meet. So it depends on their karma, right? So it's easier for them to. It says it's easier for them to meet with a beggar because of their karma. But of course, what kind of karma they have created, then we're going into very detailed karma. Right? So then, of course, it's difficult to say.
샹주 선바 수행바에 나니 소소고 지금 엠바들이 신바들이 따고 젤바 별내들이 라데 요와이나 아니 뒤갑라야 고샹주 좀 갑라야 신바들한테 레기를 소소고 리롱쇼 차선 좀 받은 것도 연결해.
So yeah, because when they are sentient beings, they have so many. They have taken so many from others, right? They have taken so many from others before, and they already all have this debt in there for a long time. So now they find so many places, where people and they meet, to be able to give away.
얘는 샹주점에 샘듯이 뚝뚝하게 말하고 신바가 코로나는 샘 뚝뚝하게 말했어. 간지 더 조바 샴바다 이제 조바 최단으로 체내신데 신바가 샘을 간지 강에 대토고 말했어.
소박이.
또 샹주 샘발로 조베 냠네 슉 최다 체내. 아니 다 수지가 간지 샹주 샘 샘도 뚝뚝하게 말했어. 그래서 다때 중에 뉴뉴셔라 되라고 그러was.
And also, on the other hand, bodhisattvas, they are very, they have so strong. I mean, they are very strong patience that even if somebody were to slap them, they will not get angry, right? So to find somebody, who can really irritate them is difficult,
okay.
Because they are so perfected in the patience that small things doesn't bother them at all.
Does it make sense?
That part does. It's just that I guess I assume that if the first perfection is generosity, and so you think that their practice of generosity would be equally strong to their practice of patience, and therefore, if you're saying that their practice of patience is so strong that they're presented with few opportunities to practice, then presumably their practice of generosity is at least as strong, or maybe stronger, but they're still presented with lots of opportunities.
되게 좋아요, 방금. 지금 아무래도 전부 다 네, 샹주에서 뭐 코로나 지면에 심바다 파주고 이어가 너무도 좋아요, 버려봤어.
더 뭐라 생각하지? 건지 찍어라다. 파주는 거도 너sem도 파주로 열어 그래.
되게 파주 넣으면 되게 샹주에서 샘도 뚝뚝이 말했어. 단 아무것도 배워야 그 너무 배워야 되게 샹주에서 그 개체요 말았어.
So there's because that's true, but there are a lot of beggars there, so there are so many poor people, so that bodhisattvas can practice patience, practice generosity all the time. But even though there are people who are causing harm, there are so many people, ill will, people, so many bad people, but they couldn't cause harm to bodhisattvas. It doesn't disturb the Bodhisattva's mind. So if he doesn't get disturbed, then you can't practice patience.
And then
So like, the beggars there, they're there by their own karma. There's the beggar there, right? There's nothing Bodhisattva can do about that, So they're there, so you can practice generosity. You don't have to, it doesn't disturb you, And it doesn't have to be disturbed, for you to practice generosity. Whereas the patience, you have to be disturbed, right? It has to be irritating, It has to cause harm to you. If you don't feel any irritated, then you don't have to practice patience. So even if they look at Bodhisattva's face and then point on his face, he will not be angry. So if the beggar comes and asks for something, then there's nothing Bodhisattva can do to avoid that, Then he will, give it easily. So that's very different, right?
Yeah.
Is it a big difference?
Yeah.
I can punish me one hand, you just doesn't pay attention, then I have nothing to do. Like someone come to give me something, then you cannot do anything. Or you don't come here, I'm Bodhisattva, you cannot come here. Or I say also, I'm not going there, they're all Bodhisattvas, cannot say that, whatever you found. But, anger is different.
Well, I was thinking more in terms of karmic appearance, but I understand.
You got it? Okay? Yes? Okay. Who's fault? I think maybe there's some place. Okay, two people.
I actually just want to address that. When I went to India
What?
last month, it was very different. I didn't expect what it was that was there. There were many, many beggars. And they constantly, and I had this idea in my head, well, I'd have, a certain amount of money, and I'd give out a little bit to everybody, and my generosity, and I would do this, and I'd bring food, and there were just too many, and I couldn't do it. And many of them would come up to me and constantly, they'd keep poking at me,
Yeah.
and they wouldn't let me be.
Yeah.
And I really I didn't get angry because I knew that I had no right to be angry, but I had to really learn that patience because I couldn't help everybody.
Exactly.
So I just felt, yes, I did have to learn patience, but I also had to figure out that I was also being generous by being patient because being angry wouldn't have served me any purpose at that time.
It's like exactly like that happened to me, try to I give something, the final I get mad. It's happened to me many times, they just jumped. Then I hired the two police guys, even they have guns. Two police guys, then the police come and they just stay there. Then I can, give some money or they just very calm. Otherwise, you just go there, they just surround, then you also not safe. Then you get mad. I go last year like that, I tried to give them, they just, everyone just give me. Then I have some money, they just take. Sometimes they also hold the money that they take one you want, money become peace. This happen, yeah. Okay, you have?
Just to your comment about you can't get angry at people that you are love. I think that the most challenging lesson of patience is like being a parent or being in a relationship because you have to work through it and you can't run away. And so I think, especially, being a parent was like the most challenging in terms of that you really learn patience from your parents. And then also in a relationship, you have to really kind of I think that to me maybe it's my karma, but that's kind of how I learn through patience. But then there's patience for people that, commit horrendous acts, especially lately. It's just so hard not to get angry or upset with people acting out. But so that was just your comment about not being able to get angry at people that you love. Actually, I find it very easy. Easier.
Okay.
That's my comment. But anyway.
Good.
And of course, there's so many different kind of patience, So the patience in so when somebody comes to harm you, then you don't, retaliate, to that person. That's patience also. That's been. And then the other one is like, when you have to work hard to achieve something. That's also patience. You're willingly taking that hardship in order to achieve that. And then if somebody causes something bad to somebody else, through your loved ones or something that you treasure, like your dharma, something that if they do something bad to that, you don't get angry towards that, although it's not causing harm to you directly, but not causing harm. So there are different kind of patience you can practice like that. And so so that the kind of patience that you explain is different one than like somebody causing harm to you directly.
Okay, now here, okay. Maybe Margaret, then go to the Ian, then go you, okay?
Actually, I was just on that thought that Jennifer was talking about. I just wanted to clarify. I think it's almost like karmic, you're saying the karmic phenomena. Why it's quite hard to verbalize it. I was wondering, it's sort of like the beggar in the occurrence of that is independent of your own karmic action, whereas to practice patience, there is a sort of dependent on your own.
How can meeting a beggar be independent of your own karma?
Because that's their karma that it happened, but you're not the cause of their begging situation. Whereas to meet somebody who causes a disturbance to your own mind, you do have that control over that situation. If you're a Bodhisattva and you can completely control your mind, you won't even see that situation as a situation that will disturb your mind. So that is the causation, where you're the cause, because you're not a Bodhisattva. We are not Bodhisattva. We can't see that situation and be able to not get angry with it yet.
Right.
But if you are able to not see that way, then there's no cause at all of that phenomenon.
Right.
So then it doesn't exist. You got it?
Yeah, thank you.
Does that make sense? Good, okay. Now, Ian.
I was just going to go with 106 with kind of what her question was. I just want to simplify it to see if I have it right. Is it basically just saying there's more opportunities to practice generosity than patience? Because in society, generally, people try to get along, but they still have needs. So you're going to encounter more situations where they need something from you than people that try to poke at you and purposely try to irritate you. Like, for example, His Holiness, for example, he'll encounter far more people that are in need of something from him than there are people that try to hurt him. Is that kind of that same scenario?
Good Lord.
치고라다. 그러다 뭐 걸어서다 맞아 미 공개 망아요. 그래. 내가 소소로 너버지는 용어요. 그래서 거다. 근데 정보를 보잖아요. 정보를 보잖아요. 정보를 보잖아요. 되는 공개 망아요.
아니야.
정보를 보잖아요. 파 너버지는 용어요. 그래서 맞아 된 지도나래나 찍어버렸어. 당마도 망아 미 가서 주 혼자로 고야 망아요. 그래 그러더라. 나는 정원에 그런지 30도 되는 것들 용어라는 용어요. 그래서 지도나래나. 지도나래나 다 고야도 망아요.
Yeah? That will make sense. Okay, now your turn.
Thank you. I have a question. So, when I try to help someone and they get angry with me, I find it particularly difficult to not get annoyed. And so, say someone has attachment to something and kind of tell them, oh, you should try not to be so attached. And oh, no, don't tell me what to do. Something is there some mantra, some way to try to not get angry?
Yeah. That doesn't tabla kewa kore, tab kewa che kore.
So you have to be skilled. You have to be skillful in those kind of things. Yeah.
나중에 수수 끊는 나마 또 외워서다 봐줘야 고갈 오지는 뭐 버들다 tab kewa che kore.
So I mean, of course, we can have very good intention, but from what we say or do, they might not be happy. They might even get angry and so forth. So you have to be very skillful in those kind of cases.
그래서 디세이나 디세인 개바, 디세 대대신 봐. 아니 내서 다다인 봐.
So you have to check the timing, the situation, condition, at what place, at what time can you do this, or can you tell them, Just check that, check that. And don't tell, if you just go and tell everybody at any time, any place, then of course they will not be happy. So if that person is already, blazing with the anger or with the attachment or something, and then if you say something like adding oil, and it will blaze even more. So if there's a big fire, and even if you put a little bit of water, that can help, the fire to blaze even more. So yeah, even like Buddha, even in Buddha's case, he has to be very skillful. And of course, Buddha is very skillful. But even though he has all these realizations and knowledge, but if he's not skillful, he will not be able to benefit. So, and the reason why he's able to benefit is because not only he has the knowledge, but he also is very skilled in helping beings. So you have to be like that. So even if you say I'm saying it out of very good intention, but if you don't limit to what you say, then other person might not take it in a good way. And so even though I try to cover the cup, with this stuff, right? What is the coaster? I will cover coaster, saying that this is the cover of the cup. Even though my intention, in my thing, I'm doing it really good, making it really good to cover it, with the coaster, but it doesn't become a cover. But it's wrong. It has a different cover, right? So it has the right cover. But if I use the coaster, to cover it, then it doesn't become right. So even if you have the right intention, but if you don't do it in the right way, it might not help others.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Any other questions? 저도 거시면은 가서 잠시하세. 아니 저도 단다 뎁데 저도 뎁망체 도와세. 근데 지금 샤마자 나를 바로 연줄로 연을 들어가려고 돼. 들어가 남줄라가 돼. 들어가 전화도 들어가 나 미치기 전에 들어가는 애 자도 말해. 기 자원 따다 자자고 좀 말해. 남줄라와나 미치기 내지 알에 돼. 고야 안도 생각도 마 배도 도와세.
If you don't have a question, then we'll stop here for today. And yeah, so most of you have the book, right? The textbook. So go back and don't just leave it there, but read it again. Read it again and again. And more you read, more understanding you will gain. Or you might even have more questions. You might not understand when you read it. Oh, what is that? I did not understand that. And then bring up that question. And it's not only for me, to answer your question. Just like we had other people, giving different answers. So I might not be able to give you all the answers that you need, but so other people might give suggestions, and that can also help you. So because we are doing in a group, so when you have a question and many other people here and they bring others, that can help you. So if my answer doesn't help you, then their answer might help you. So it's good to bring up the question in the group.
미치기 내가 잡더나 그 렌다 따다 자요 말서 나도 공부를 저와서 비 최선이 잡시다 추진이 가지 가디나 최장 잡다고도 그 지야요 와서.
So if one person answers, then that would not be the right answer. So you have to find answer for many different ones. So that's the reason why in the monastery we debate all the time, and debate a lot. Not only with one person, but with many people, and many times, and so just to get the right answer.
같이 수수삼은 저번에 거다 알았던데 오늘 다다래셔서 말이죠. 아니 배사 쉬다 안 맛이.
Yeah, so it has to fit, with the explanation, right? So, oh yeah, it makes sense. It has to be like that, and then of course that has to accord, with the text also.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Then we stop. Have a nice day. Please
turn to page 39.
master's praise that I've been working with effort in this practice for a great deal of time. And if I can choose to be Buddha for all those whose minds blinded by ignorance. Even if I reach the state that I've held in loving compassion for all my lifetime history, may I find the method of completing great path of teaching, and may I teach all those by practicing, using skillful means strong by strong force of compassion, by clear the darkness of the minds of all beings to the point of the path that I have discerned them. May I conclude these teachings for a very long time. With my heart going out with great compassion in whatever direction the most special teachings have not yet spread, or once spread have declined, may I reveal this treasure of happiness and aid. May the minds of those who seek liberation be granted not to cease, and the Buddhist deeds be nourished for a long time. By even his great force to enlighten completely due to the wondrous virtuous conduct of the Buddhist and children. May all human beings who eliminate heresy and make things conducive to practicing the excellent path never be born in any of their lives or pure path praised by the Buddhists. Whenever someone makes an effort to act in accordance with the tenfold harmony of Buddhist practices, may they always be assisted by the light of Jesus, and may pushes of prosperity spread everywhere. In that snow mountain encircled land, source of every benefit and joy, may Lord Tenzin Gyatso Chen Reizing remain in life till samsara's end. Savior of the Snowland teachings and transmigration beings, who extensively clarifies the path and unifies emptiness and compassion, to those in the hand who are Tenzin Gyatso, I beseech, may all your holy wishes be fulfilled. Page 49, short long life prayer for Lama Zopa Rinpoche. You who uphold the doers of all ways, who serve the God of the spirit of all, sustaining, preserving, and spreading my Jewish victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplish magnificent prayers, honoring the three jewels, Savior of myself and others, your disciples, please live. Page 57, prayers of dedication. Through this virtue may I swiftly, having in Guru Monastic, place each and every sentient being, without exception, in that sin. Precious Supreme Bodhi Light, may it whereon arise, and where born never decline, but increase forevermore. Page 75.
Thank you, everyone.
Mary Ann's not here to make any announcements, so be sure to check the calendar. Next Wednesday we have Geshe's class. He's teaching on Lama Zopa and phrase of dependent origination. Then next weekend, in addition to class, we have Guru Puja following class, and then I think also refuge ceremony for those, I guess. Yeah, check the calendar.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Hi, so I just want to take this opportunity to make an announcement. My name is Margaret. I'm helping Annette on the development team. We have the big gala event coming up, the Lotus Gala. I think email has just come
email has gone out.
Yeah, and I'm looking for people to help me with silent auction, either to help put together this solicitation or if you'd like to donate. I have a list of ideas of what to do. If after class you would like to just check in with me or just wait outside, I think, if lots of people help, we all do it just one little bit, and we'll all come together. All right, thank you.
Thank you. second? Okay, thank you guys. Have a good day. Have a good day. Okay. How are you? How are you? Not been a long time.
It's sure does. It's so funny because at work, I always keep in mind, Sari is a precious jewel. I got everybody in the office calling people precious jewels. Precious jewels on the phone again. We end up laughing, which is good. It's better to laugh than angry.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How are you? Yeah, good. How are you?
Somebody know how to